Always had really good matches with them too. Was the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner. Mm-hmm. And so I'd wrestled them quite a few times up to this point in my career. And one day they were kind of getting kind of froggy in the locker room, and they were kind of saying a couple of things to Barry Horowitz, and Barry, he's a mind his own business kind of guy, just, not wanting to get in any kind of locker room mischief or anything like that, So they were talking about, I think Barry was a high school wrestling champion, and other guys in the locker room were going, well, Rick, Scott, you're not the only one that's a great amateur wrestler here. Barry Horowitz is, a great amateur wrestler, and so they were like, oh, Barry, well, if you think you'd like to do something, and Barry's not saying nothing. They're just kind of joking, but Barry doesn't know this, right? So I'm feeling kind of froggy myself. And I go, well, Barry, aren't you going to do something? You're just going to stand there and take that from him. I go, I know I wouldn't. And the next thing I know, Scott has grabbed me and we're wrestling in the floor, right? And so doggone it, I mean, he wrestled at Michigan, right? So I mean, he's legit, right? So I'm fighting for my life, and he's just toying with me, right? And then his brother gets in on it. So Rick and Scott both are on me. Then they grab the duct tape. So I'm in the middle of the locker room, and they duct tape my feet. They duct tape my hands behind my back to my feet. And so then they go, well, let's duct tape his eyes shut. And I was like, oh my God, I panicked then, because I was like, these guys probably could kill me, And so at the time, I didn't think it was very funny. But looking back on it, looking back, because here comes the punchline now. So I'm like, oh God, please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So they end up leaving me alone. Somebody comes and cuts me loose, And so I'm really kind of about half hot now, but they're just over just chuckling, about half. I'm not total hot, I'm not an idiot, but I said, I'm going to get those guys. I'm going to get those guys. And so I go and I look who I'm wrestling that night, and I'm in a tag match with the Steiners. And I was like, crap, And Rick, he comes by and he goes, did you see who you're working with tonight? Don't try no funny stuff, And so we got out there, and those guys are pros. When we went out there and had a heck of a match, and it was a lot of fun. But I've seen them do the old duct tape routine to other folks after that too. We were in, we was in Bowling Green, Kentucky, at Western Kentucky University. I'm wrestling Terry Taylor, Red Rooster. They're on there. They may have been wrestling the Head Shrinkers. I don't know. It was a pretty good card that night. And so every now and then they would bring in guys that were local to come in and fill in with a match or so. And there was a gentleman, and he was a midget. He was a short guy. I don't know if that's back in my day, everybody, hey, the guys, he's a midget, and I don't say that to knock anybody or discredit someone. That's what we said back then, short people but even on the poster, it was advertised midget wrestling,
Midget wrestling. Okay. Yep.
Midget wrestling, so if anybody's out there that fits that bill, I'm not saying that to be ugly or anything. It's just, I'm just telling the story here. So, So this guy comes in, and he's, like I said, he's a midget, and he's going to wrestle another short guy, and usually, like, if you're not one of the established guys, you're just kind of Johnny come lately. You don't come in and start taking over the locker room with conversation or stuff like. You just come in. You may say, introduce yourself to everybody, and get your bag and sit in the corner and keep your mouth shut. That's kind of the way it worked,
Yeah.
But this guy comes in like he's, Intercontinental champion or something, he's coming in like, and everybody's looking around there going, do you know this guy? I remember the Steiners look at me and they go, you know this guy? I go, I don't know him. So anyway, a few minutes later comes along, and one of the agents, and I believe it may have been Tony Gurria, he's coming. He goes, "Hey, you seen the midget? He's getting ready to go on." And I said, "I don't know. I ain't seen him. I've been over here warming up." And so they couldn't find him. He goes, "Look, go grab Terry. You guys are going on next." And so we, go on and come back, and they're still looking for this guy, right? And so I don't know. Maybe he got, maybe somebody said something to him. He got mad and left. I don't know. So I'm walking down this hallway, and it's kind of like a high school locker, high school hallway, and you got all these lockers on each side. And I get down to the very end of this hallway, and I hear, I go, "What is that?" And I hear it coming from inside of a locker. And I go over to it, and I open it up, and the midget is hanging upside down, duct taped. I knew what happened to him. So then here's the dilemma that I have. Do I help him get down, cut him loose, or go tell the agent, "Hey, I saw him down there hanging up"? So then, if that happens, the Steiners going to be mad at me, right?
Yeah.
I just politely shut the door and walk off. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" So
brilliant.
I thought that was pretty funny.
That's excellent